The American public needs to really think that through. You know, there will be a Democratic president someday, and all my MAGA friends who are, you know, cheering on these illegal killings need to imagine who gets killed when President Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says that it doesn't matter what the law says. She's going to do what she's going to do. So look, I work here, so I understand the complete abnegation of principle and a complete thumbing of the nose at the rule of law, but I would hope that people like Lindsey Graham might not go that path.
So I did want to see this, check this out for a second. So this guy is I don't even know what you would consider him. He's like a co-host on CNN, but he's a dipshit conservative dude. I saw this post this morning, like pretty soon after I woke up, and it's so triggering. I don't know if it's evil. I don't know if it's malicious. I don't know if it's stupidity, which, considering he's from Kentucky, considering he is a Republican, and considering that he desperately tries to get Trump's attention in every instance that he's able to, I wouldn't put it past him that he's just a fucking retard. But he shares this. It's a post from Eric Dougherty, Daughter. I don't know how to fucking pronounce it. Change your name, please, legally. Breaking. Calls are now getting louder for Democrat Representative Jim Hines to resign for seemingly threatening MAGA that a future Democrat president will use the military to kill Trump supporters because 47 is killing narco-terrorists. What a gross comment. So, when he says narco-terrorists, I would suspect like there is like some sort of substantiation for this claim existing. Like, Republicans wouldn't dare come out with something that's like completely fabricated and then just say it's the truth, right? Like, they would have like evidence and stuff to like back up their claims, right? They wouldn't just like come out and say this with no teeth whatsoever. That's what I'm imagining. But aside from that, when I'm watching this clip, I'm expecting the representative, Jim Hines. Well, okay, maybe they caveated a little bit here, so maybe it's not exactly what they're claiming. I don't know. Maybe it's not like literally threatening, but it like could be interpreted that way. Good thing they caveated, because if I went into this and I was expecting them to have a clip of this guy threatening MAGA that a future Democrat president will use the military to kill Trump supporters because Donald Trump is killing terrorists, I don't know. If I didn't see that, I would be kind of like bummed out, right? Like that's not good journalistic integrity or anything, right? What is this guy? Is he an elected official too, or is he just like a dipshit? Oh, what is this guy's position? Who the fuck is this guy? This guy just looks racist. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't like him. But anyways, I would expect like this to have some sort of relevance to the video that they're linking here, but we'll see.
Needs to really think that through. You know, there will be a Democratic president someday, and all my MAGA friends who are, you know, cheering up, they're not terrorists. They may be drug runners. We don't know that for sure.
So they're not terrorists, which he's not even claiming in this clip that they're terrorists or narco-terrorists. He's saying they may be drug runners, but we're not sure.
Because you call somebody a terrorist, we call lots of people terrorists, doesn't mean that the military is authorized to go after them.
Just because you label somebody as something doesn't mean that that justification for retaliating against that thing is justified, right?
And if no other reason, and look, I talked to an awful lot of people who, despite the fact that this is illegal, are comfortable with lethal action against purported, maybe, cartel members. You know, where does it stop? Do we now start executing drug dealers on the corners?
Sorry, I thought he was going to say, do we now start executing MAGA? I thought he was going to say that for a second. Why didn't he say that?
Of Brooklyn, you know, where does it stop if all of a sudden the government, without telling anybody anything, can take this kind of lethal action?
So he's saying, if the government can just claim somebody to be something, does the justification against that person for being that thing, is that therefore justified?
Just because they've decided that they've got the right to do so. If Lindsey Graham...
I don't know what this cut is. I don't know if it involves anything whatsoever like relevant to this, but...
Republicans want to go the route of saying it's okay to kill people illegally, just so long as the American public supports it.
So he's saying, by Lindsey Graham's logic, if there is enough support to do something that is condemnable, does that mean it's justified by that standard?
The American public needs to really think that through. You know, there will be a Democratic president someday, and all my MAGA friends who are, you know, cheering on these illegal killings need to imagine who gets killed when President Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says that it doesn't matter what the law says. She's going to do what she's going to do. So look, I work here, so I understand the complete abnegation of principle and a complete thumbing of the nose at the rule of law, but I would hope that people like Lindsey Graham might not go that path.
So he's saying he works there. He can see the mockery that exists whenever people are just like pointing at the law and acting as if it is nothing to consider. And he's saying that Lindsey Graham, that he hopes that Lindsey Graham would be above that standard to just fall into that continuation of it, of that blatant disregard. Yeah, because it's a very, very dangerous path.
What she's going.
Let's rewind it real quick.
When President Alexandria
we can imagine
on these illegal killings. Need to imagine who gets killed when President Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says that it doesn't matter what the law says. She's going to do what she's going to do. So look,
So he's saying in a hypothetical scenario, if AOC is to exist as this demon that these people represent AOC to be, despite not even doing demonic things, for one, for two, hypothetically, if there is a world to exist in which she acted out in those principles that they say that she acts out in, and she is to vaguely determine their constituents or their voter base or whoever they align with or sympathize with, if she is to vaguely identify them as targets that are deemed worthy enough to critically attack and potentially kill, is that therefore justified because she has the majority support and is now sitting in the seat of the presidency?
I work here, so I understand the complete abnegation of principle and a complete thumbing of the nose at the rule of law, but I would hope that people like Lindsey Graham might not go that path, because it's a very, very dangerous path for this country to go down.
Okay. So if you set the standards for this disgusting behavior, then the opposition is able to exist within those behaviors, is basically Jim Hines' claim. So nowhere did I see a threat to MAGA, which this Eric dipshit knows, which is why he caveats and says seemingly, because it can only seem that way if you are MAGA and if you are a fucking retard that mooches off the government and other government subsidies that are subsidized by these blue states that they shit talk so often. Maybe I can understand the interpretation of a threat, but two things: that still makes you a complete fucking retard, for one. For two, I don't know if it's like a good thing that the government is shut down and people are not receiving their SNAP benefits, because disproportionately Republicans are the ones that are on SNAP benefits. And if they're the ones that are peddling this stupid fucking shit, then maybe they'll just starve to death and we won't have to worry about them anymore, because this is just fucking retarded. How you can come to this conclusion from this clip. And then you have this dipshit here that is openly advertising that he's from my fucking state, which is a disgrace. Going to feature this audio on my radio show today, a Democratic congressman threatening Republicans with murder if AOC gets elected president because they don't like the Trump anti-narco policies. One of the most batshit things I've ever heard. Wow. So I'm surprised that the SNAP thing doesn't even apply to this person, because that would be my first go-to. Is like, well, malnourishment is known to cause like deficiency within the brain, and the capability of understanding like somewhat, I shouldn't even say somewhat difficult concepts. These aren't even difficult concepts. This dude is just a fucking retard. This is a very, very easy thing to have explained to you and for you to interpret, especially if you're on the opposition, because this statement is made to the opposition with the intent of getting them to sympathize with having higher standards for public officials and the president of the United fucking States of America. I don't understand how this guy is going to come on here and take an even more extreme stance, and he's not even saying seemingly threatening. He's retweeting this and saying that he's threatening Republicans. Excuse me, Scott Jennings, where was he threatening Republicans at? If AOC gets elected. When did he say if AOC gets elected that they're going to be doing this? Was it that he said AOC is going to get elected, or if AOC gets elected that she is going to kill the people that are anti-narco terrorist? Or was he saying that in a hypothetical scenario, where anybody can abide by any arbitrary standard that is put forward, that sets a horrible precedent for discourse and for the role of the presidency. Isn't that kind of like more like what Jim Hines was saying? Yeah, this is just horrible. And the anti-narco-terrorist policies, like that is already setting a standard for which, like, what if I were to phrase it as Scott Jennings is actually like pro-pedophile? I heard that Scott Jennings actually is a pedo sympathizer, right? Like, I've actually heard Scott Jennings run like pedophile defense when he is actively defending the Trump administration, where he is actively blaming the Democrats for the government shutdown because the Republicans are refusing to come to the table whatsoever in the past like 6 to 7 months to come up with like some sort of CR bill with the Democrats, instead of them just like trying to keep a chokehold on the government and have a majority Republican rule and not have to negotiate when it comes to the ACA, or not negotiate. There isn't even negotiation for this part, but not have Mike Johnson certify that the one sitting, or the one elected congresswoman that said that she would vote in favor of releasing the Epstein files. So by that standard, can I say Scott Jennings is pro-pedophilia? Or he's anti-pedo accountability? Like, can I say that by that standard? None of this makes any fucking sense. I don't know, it's just absolutely deranged. Yeah, so fucking gross. But like he said, he's going to feature this comment on his radio show. So I'm gonna take a look at that and see what he has to say, because I'm sure it's only substantive critique of Jim Hines in his statement, right?
We just like to get back to work and make sure other Americans get paid and get to work as well.
Let me switch gears to another topic. I want to play some audio for you. This is another congressman, a Democrat named Jim Hines of Connecticut. I assume you know him. The issue being discussed in this clip here is the Trump administration.
The issue, okay. So he's going to lay out the plan. What is he talking about?
Sinking these narco-terrorist boats off the coast of Venezuela.
Okay. Taking out these narco-terrorist boats off the coast of Venezuela, which, from my understanding, I could be completely wrong, I haven't seen any sort of substantiation of it whatsoever, showing that these were actual narco-terrorists.
I want you to listen to Hines, who basically says that he opposes this policy and then threatens that a future Democratic president...
Oh, he threatens. Okay, where's I'm excited to see where that threat is.
A president could use this precedent to kill people they don't like, such as supporters of... Precedent to kill people they don't... He says that he opposes this policy and then threatens that a future Democratic president could use this precedent to kill people.
So he's already caveating, because I'm sure this dude is just fucking evil and malicious and retarded, because he realizes that he's not actually threatening. He's saying that, oh, it could happen. It could happen in this occurrence if you are to set the standard in this sort of behavior in this way. Not that he is actually threatening to... I don't even know what he's threatening. Is he threatening that, like, somebody else could do something? Is he threatening that somebody else is going to do something? Or is he threatening that he's going to mind control the person that is the Democrat in the position of the presidency, and he's going to mind control them to kill anti-narco Trump supporters? Like, what's the claim here?
People they don't like, such as supporters of the Republican Party. Let's listen to Hines.
Lindsey Graham and other Republicans want to go the route of saying it's okay to kill people illegally, just so long as the American public supports it.
So are you in favor of killing people illegally, Scott Jennings? Is Lindsey Graham in favor of killing people illegally?
The American public needs to really think that through. You know, there will be a Democratic president someday, and all my MAGA friends who are, cheering on these illegal killings need to imagine who gets killed when President Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says that it doesn't matter what the law says. She's going to do what she's going.
So he's picking an example of somebody that they constantly and consistently demonize, aka AOC, by saying she is a communist Marxist who is okay with political violence, who wants her political enemies dead, right? So he's choosing this example, and he's saying, hey, by this standard, I think MAGA people should maybe consider, like, if the roles were reversed and this person that they deem to be this evil, horrible person does actually do the evil, horrible things that they say that she wants to do, like, by this standard, like, you should maybe, like, maybe push back against the Trump administration for just shooting random fucking boats that are not verified to be narco dealers whatsoever. Maybe that's like the standard that should exist.
To do. So look, I work here, so I understand the complete abnegation of principle and a complete thumbing of the nose at the rule of law. But I would hope that people like Lindsey Graham might not go that path, because it's a very, very dangerous path for this country to go down.
Your reaction to that crazy comment, sir?
That crazy comment. That's your reaction to that crazy comment, sir. Your reaction, sir. Yeah.
Well, the dangerous path would be to allow people to continue to traffic drugs into this country that kill
That's not the contention whatsoever, you fucking dipshit. Who is
Tens
this?
of thousands of people
Congressman Tom Cole, is that who he's speaking to right now?
every year and have for a long time. Look, in part of the world I'm from, people are very supportive of the president taking Trump.
The issue at hand is Mike Johnson refusing to certify a congresswoman that won her election fair and square because he doesn't want the Epstein files to be released. See how like rephrasing the issue into something that's like actually not is like part of the problem? Like, doesn't that mean like Scott Jennings or like Mike Johnson or what's his name? Lindsey Graham, aren't they like pro pedophilia? Why are they voting to or refusing to come to the table to like make any dealings whatsoever whenever it comes to certifying this person?
Strong action in these cases. These are not pleasure votes. These are not fishing boats. These are not people out just
How do you know that? Have you been shown evidence?
on a summer cruise. I mean, these are folks that are trafficking in illegal drugs. And frankly, I give the president a great deal of credit for acting decisively. And you know, Jim is surely not talking about Republicans that are engaged in political dissent and activity as compared to a terrorist
What is he talking about? Political dissent or activity?
that are trafficking in drugs that have killed hundreds of thousands of Americans. So I think that the president's on pretty strong ground. And I think, honestly, no question that the
So pretty strong ground is declaring someone as being something and then acting in a way that is either harmful or kills or injures or whatever else because you declare somebody that thing. Isn't this literally what they say people do to Charlie Kirk? What people say that they do to Donald Trump? What people say that the Democrats do to America overall is that they claim it is this horrible, hateful, patriarchal structure that needs to be deconstructed and torn down and blah, 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 whatever like gay progressive shit is like espoused that is used against the Democrats for whatever reason. Like, isn't this exactly what they say the other side is doing? And that is justified to enact violence on those people because of that thing?
the majority of people, I think, in the country would support strong action in this case.
Yeah, I agree with you that the president has political support for this. That comment from Hines just alarmed me, and it's sort of rocketing around social media
It alarms you if you need to be bottle fed as a fucking 50-year-old.
today because he does appear to be saying if we get a Democratic president, they might start killing people that you would politically not approve of and connecting that to these terrorists. And they are terrorists, by the way. I mean, they're people that are trying to bring substances into our
Do you know that? Do you have any evidence whatsoever? Like, have you shown anything? Have you seen anything? Have you, like, substantiated anything? Or are you just saying it exists?
country that could kill thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of Americans. To me, one of the things that we're seeing out of a lot of Democratic politicians right now is playing fast and loose with some of this rhetoric that's at or over the line of invoking violence.
In what way is that existing whatsoever? Was it after, like, the Trump assassination attempt, whenever, like, every Democrat politician came forward and every Democrat pundit came forward saying that the attempt was disgusting and immediately denouncing the political violence? Was it that time? Or was it like, hold on, after the Charlie Kirk shooting? Was it that time that they were announcing, they were advocating for political violence or using irresponsible rhetoric when all of the mainstream pundits and politicians of the Democratic Party came together and denounced political violence and also wished their sympathies to Charlie Kirk and Charlie Kirk's family? Was that the time that the rhetoric existed? Or what about like the rhetoric that comes from the person that this person actively supports, that he is desperately trying to get the attention of when it comes to his book, A Revolution of Common Sense, and how Donald Trump stormed Washington and fought for Western civilization? Was it when the person that you wrote a endearing book about said that you should feel no sympathy for Joe Biden after you got his like cancer diagnosis? Was that like the rhetoric that we should abide by? Or was it at Charlie Kirk's WWE styled funeral when the president said, in contrast to Charlie Kirk's own wife, that he hates his political enemies? Or at like a rally, whenever somebody was like dissenting and like yelling at him, that he told his audience that he would pay the legal fees for whoever was to go out and like assault that protester? Was that the standard that we should abide by? I'm just asking questions. Just asking questions, Scott Jennings.
And
Well,
not
I-
entirely too much of this right now, don't you think?
We do, and there really is such a thing as Trump Tourette syndrome. It's real. I've seen it. It's irrational. This is strong and decisive action by President protecting the American people. I think the president's not just on strong political ground. I think he's on strong legal ground, and we're dealing literally in the case of Venezuela.
Strong legal ground.
with a terrorist state, a narco-terrorist state, and a state in which the head of state holds the power illegally. Interestingly enough, the president gets a lot of praise in Venezuela from the opposition leader. So, but it's a red herring. I mean, what we're really talking about right now, I would hope, is how do we get our government back open? How do we make sure the men and women we ask to defend us get paid?
You probably get the government back open whenever you come to the agreement with Democrats to continue funding for the ACA and not like cut people off of like, their health insurance or anything like that. I think that's not much of a standard to ask, especially whenever you're bailing out some other people's like governments, was like Argentina, maybe? Was that like one of the examples that I'm thinking of where it was like $40 billion that was given to them that could have been used to fund the continuation of like some extent at the very least of the ACA?
How do we return to some sort of semblance of regular order in Congress, which we were managing to do in the appropriations process until it was...
Regular order of Congress, whenever Congress has been completely disregarded, aside from the fact that you wanted to pass the quote-unquote big beautiful bill, where that's like the only instance of Congress being used, that's the only instance of Congress being enacted or respected or fulfilling its duty despite how disgusting whatever the bill was and what came from it. Like, there's no regard for Congress in this administration. I don't know why you're bringing this up or invoking this as if this is like some sort of point.
This whole thing got hijacked by Senator Schumer and Leader Jeffries, basically relating things unrelated to day-to-day appropriations there. Things that, by the way, they're demanding to enact things they couldn't pass in Congress.
Right.
We have elections. If they can't pass it, then go win some elections and then try to pass it and see what happens. But regardless, keep the day-to-day operations of the government open for both the security and the prosperity of the American people.
That voice you're hearing?
Then you should maybe, work together with the other side of Congress. When you're the majority of Congress, you need only a few votes to continue the ability for it to be opened up, for the government to be running and functional as usual. Like, you should only need a few. Why is it so fucking hard to do that? Whenever Biden has a split Congress but is able to pass these massive amounts of like huge legislation with a Congress that fucking hates him, why is he able to do that, but Donald Trump, the great negotiator, is not able to do that with the opposition here? Does that mean like Biden is a better negotiator than Donald Trump, the person who ran his entire election and bases his entire identity around being the great negotiator?
Chairman Tom Cole, head of the Appropriations Committee in the United States House of Representatives. More with Chairman Cole. We'll talk immigration and energy and other issues when we come back. It's Scott Jennings here on the Salem Radio Network.
The voice of...
God, it's so fucking retarded. This guy is so spineless. Such a spineless, disgusting fucking hack. I don't know how he can even like sit on CNN or sit on any social media site or sit on his own show and then have the audacity to put Kentucky in his name as if he's like some sort of representative or is able to vocalize any sort of like genuine concern or just anything sensible whatsoever. Also, real quick, before I forget, if for any reason Scott Jennings is seeing this or can see this, if he wants to have a conversation or a call in on his show, if he actually wants to have like a conversation regarding any of this, then he can let me know, I guess. Cringe.